Keep
No, we're
chatting. Oh
not.
God, everybody froze all of a sudden when I said we're live. You're like,
No,
oh,
so-
shit. You know what I heard yesterday? You know what I heard? Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we were all having a dick measuring contest so we could see where we line up with.
Watch it,
what's her
Lori
name?
Lightfoot.
I don't have a dick.
I
I
mean,
have a
Breaking
vagina.
news:
We were the judges,
Toonie
Toonie.
doesn't have a dick.
Hey,
Look, YouTube just let everybody know. Can I bring something up right now as we're having our little chit chat here? We are over
What's up?
90 days since my infraction based on everything that ended up being truth on Facebook, whatever, and they still have not reinstated the regular amount of people that can watch the show.
okay.
What? It said 90, it said 90-ish days, and it did say ish. It was literally like a minimum of 90 days for something that meant, and we still can't. It's ridiculous.
It's because we're not on Rumble, nor are we on any of the actual.
We're on
platforms
Rumble.
that
We post it the next day. We're on Rumble. What are you
Hey.
doing? You're so weird.
Do it when we're live. Yeah,
on
I'm
Rumble?
weird. Get over it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know if you
Why
know
am
this,
I
Mo, but
here?
all of our episodes are since you've been on here have been up on Rumble, so you're up there.
Ooh,
You're a Rumble.
I'm never
you're a
coming down.
Rumble star.
I'm never going down. Tell that to my
a
girlfriend.
Rumble star. We're all Rumble stars.
You just totally missed the fellatio talk over there from.
No, we didn't miss it. It just
Okay,
we're just
I feel like
ignoring
Suni did. Suni's like, we're Rumble
Yeah.
stars, and meanwhile, Kevin's over here like, I'm filleting this beer.
I said
Yeah.
I'm not because I'm a straight male. We don't do that. We don't care.
Oh yeah,
about
we do
women.
cunnilingus. That's a hard word.
I'm a cunning
Cunnilingus.
linguist, Anthony.
Why do they call it that? What is it?
Cunnilingus.
Who was
Cunnilingus.
inventing the English language and was like, I got an idea of
Said
what
language.
going down on somebody call. Let's
Is there
call
like-
it cunnilingus.
Is there like a Latin root
Look,
to that?
When I was at DLI, so I am a linguist by trade, by profession. I am a linguist. We call ourselves the cunning linguists. Because
So you
there's
just-
Kevin's
Are
like
you-
average.
Now we've officially scared away all of our Christian viewers based on our lovely perverted open. I think Saturday Night Live would call that a silent. What do they call it? Cold open. Anyway.
they called it their normal opening.
Anyway, this is Weekly News and Conversation, episode number 90 on Truth Will Set You Free. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about. And by good stuff, I mean the world is a shit show. We got Russia, Ukraine, Lori Lightfoot talking about a dick measuring contest. Super awkward. It's because it should have been labias, but we don't
I come
really
in
know.
first.
We've got the one thing I forgot, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the information coming out with the Schmiggity Bad versus Good reactions with 38 pages of it from the actual Snoop Fizzy Fizz, which is one of the pharma companies, if you can't read between the lines. And lastly, we'll talk about Brittany Griner being a political prisoner, or maybe she's just somebody that broke the law. Welcome to the show, everybody. If you'd like to support us, we've got Patreon, but actually that Patreon is soon to be changing. We're not doing Patreon. I don't know why I have that on the bottom of the screen. Casey, we need to make that a Bitly. I know that I'm throwing this on you right now. Can we make a bit? He hates me. He hates me
Yeah,
so
kill him.
bad.
Murder
so
him.
bad. Well, why don't, before you do that, give you a little intro, tell everybody who you are, say hello to everybody, and then you go do some work.
Russo's an asshole and he treats me like I'm a slave, but that's all right. Good luck, guys. We're going to have a good show tonight.
What makes you think you're allowed to talk?
Well, he's not the best color man in the business for nothing. Kevin, what's going on in your world? What's going on in the radio? Sorry, Casey, help me out. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that banner on the bottom.
Things are wild. That's about what's going on. Like, stuff is expensive. My gas has gone up about 70 cents in the last 3.5 days. I am about to start finding a nice shady underpass to suck dick underneath. So, like, that's about where we're at right now.
This is the
I
least
searched
Christian
for
first 5 minutes we've ever had.
1360khnc.com.
Jeez.
Amazing.
I'm actually trading in my Jeep this week, I believe. Funny story, but I think I'm going to the dark side and I'm getting Tesla at wholesale. But anyways, moving on. Suni, what's going on in Japan?
We chilling. We're working, doing Instagrams, pissing a lot of people off. You know, it's what I do best, right? I just anger people, and then they come to their senses and they're like, "Damn it, bro, you were right, but you're still an asshole." Somebody told me that. I was like, "Thank you."
Well, you're a black woman. It's very hard to be a black woman and have any respect in this country. Let's be honest.
Right.
I'm just kidding. Mo, what's going on?
Anthony wants to die.
Speaking of minorities, moving over to Mo, how's it going on the
Right.
border
Somebody,
front?
listen.
Hey,
Somebody
I
clip
just
that.
want to wish everybody a happy National Women's Day. I know Suni's super excited about it. And
COVID-19.
I'm just joking.
Mo, you know who's not excited about Women's Day?
Who's that?
Lori
Chicks with
Lightfoot.
dicks?
She's got a penis.
Oh,
Okay.
true. Chicks with dicks. That's what I was about to
Are you
say.
talking about Michelle Obama too? Michelle Obama.
Okay,
Oh,
stand out of
dude.
that one. Stand out
Big
of that
Mike. Big
Why?
Mike is
You
pissed.
talked about this black woman. Hold on now.
Anyways, yeah, I agree. Shit's been expensive. I can't even afford to put like a battery in my vibrator. It's like depressing. It's depressing. But yeah, we're doing good out here. Follow me, letstalkdarling.com.
Apparently, I don't even want to know what happens on Let's Talk Darling. Anyways, with that said, guys, we've got the gear. I'm actually rocking a trucker shirt right now. We've got you know what? I thought of something, and this is totally random off subject. There's the trucker shirt. Go to awakenotwokestore.com. Just use Awake right now. I don't know what codes we've got, but that one will get you 15% off. We also got Let's Go Brandon hats. Maybe we'll do something fun next week about that. So I was thinking, I go, we have the trucker quote unquote convoy in the United States, much smaller. It's still cool. I saw some of the bridges and stuff, and I mean, I don't think it's the most functional thing on the planet compared to Canada, but right now they got to be regretting every second of this as they're paying in some places $6+ a gallon for diesel like this. Did you think the United States is like, you know what, just in case we have a Canada, let's make sure we have a reason to up our gas prices so that this becomes absolutely pointless for them?
Well, you know, that's exactly how America would handle it. That's how America would do it. They'd be like, oh yeah, we're just going to double the gas price in a week. And then you'll give up anyways.
Yeah.
That's exactly how they would handle it.
Oh, man.
I think that it's kind of cute in that I really want to blow my brains out thinking about how much these gas prices keep going up. No, seriously though, we do not have the same things to kind of push back against. What you saw with the Canadian convoy is that like they were kind of the signal to the elites, hey, COVID's over. This is over. We've got to end it. We've got to end it. So by the time the Freedom Convoy started in America, Biden had already withdrawn his mask mandate or the vax mandates. Most states were starting to withdraw the mask. Obviously, Suni, Mo, you guys saw the memo that went out.
Mm-hmm.
That signaled the end of it, and that occurred before the convoy got started. They had already gotten in front of it and realized this is really bad politics. So unfortunately for our Freedom Convoy, the fact that they had to wait for the sorry A's up north to get going before they finally decided they were going to start driving to DC, that just played against them. It was a big nothing burger because politics has already moved past it into World War III.
So you think?
Go ahead.
I'm trying to gauge what you're saying. Are you saying what Canada did signaled for people to open up?
It was a sign to the like neoliberal government types, the World Economic Forum types, that like we can't keep going with this because the people are noticing and pushing back if we keep trying to do this. Because you'll have, for example, you have Justin Trudeau coming out this last week talking against authoritarianism in Russia and all this stuff when he was pursuing people's bank accounts over protests, right? So what it signaled was, hey, the people have seen through the bullshit and they're starting to push back against it. If we want to maintain this order, we got to start drawing back now.
I see what Kevin's saying. I think it was just a myriad of different things. It's timing.
Yeah.
You got midterms. I think the Super
The
Bowl
political
timing had a lot to
science
do with it. You had to do the Biden State of the Union. all of the test groups, focus groups that they're showing, the fact that a lot of
Yeah.
information was going to keep coming out, and then you look at what happened in Canada. All we're getting right now with our truck convoy in the United States of America right now is a great photo op. They're showing these
Yeah.
great photos of solidarity, but
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what they're fighting for, except for just showing
That's the
solidarity,
point.
and I just it's not the
That-
same. But I do
Well-
think part of the Casey followed the trucker convoy a lot more, including the United States. But it's like a pie or a prescription from a doctor. There's a lot of different things that went into it. I think the main thing was, of course, the midterms coming up. But I do think every little bit, including the Canadian trucker convoy, because again, right when that stopped, Canada dropped their mandates as well, but they didn't
Yep.
say it was because of the convoy. Casey,
Right.
go ahead.
1
Yeah.
second. My 1 second is just a day late and $1 short for the American convoy.
It is, but it isn't. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. I see people in the chats justifying it, and I'm not going to be one to put it down, but I will tell you there's ways you can do it better, and my state is a great representation of that, and I'll go over that in a second. But their goal is to get rid of the national emergency concerning coronavirus disease COVID-19 pandemic. That was extended by Joe Biden and enforced across the nation. They want that repealed and removed, and it's not. That is their main focus for this convoy. The problem is you're going after somebody that has dementia and doesn't really know what he's doing and probably can't even spell convoy or know what a trucker is. Go to your local state, go to your capital, go to your local legislature, and have them make the changes. That's what we did here in Utah. We took it all away. We made sure that the government can't enforce those things. The only people that can be enforced with those things is government contractors. So things are changing, but you can easily make a bigger impact locally than you can going to the federal government here in Utah, not in Utah, in the United States. So if we keep focusing on that instead of on the president doesn't have as much power as we think. We can just reel that in a bit and focus on each individual state. We will be better off.
So I don't know if anybody noticed this, because this is on the down low right now, and this has nothing. I mean, this has something to do with obviously everything going on. But as we always talk about distractions or ways of making things needed, did anybody see what Biden was starting to push for with cryptocurrency?
I heard what was it exactly?
So he is trying to push
yeah, I
for
thought when he-
a much higher level of regulation and having other governments across the world be a part of it because, drum roll, because Russia is operating outside the scope of fiscal reliance by using crypto. So now it's a danger to society.
Because they're not
Why-
using the US dollar and paying for imports and exports.
Who
You know the
is
answer
the
to that.
crypto? Who is crypto the biggest threat to? Anyone on this panel? Who is crypto the biggest
The
threat?
Great Reset and the One World Order.
The government.
The
Yep.
central bank.
Yeah.
Central bank.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
It is. They will do everything they can to disparage any and all forms of alternative currency that pop up. They're going to try to convince you through various actions like shutting off crypto that you can't use crypto.
But Kevin, why do you think now there's such a intense push? Because it's been around for a long time. Like, why now?
Because
Why are they-
governments are starting to recognize it as a form of currency. That's what Brazil
starting
just did. Russia's starting to do it. China will probably
Yep.
be next because China is promoting it. And you're going to see these major world countries that have a lot of imports and exports being like, hey, give us Bitcoin instead.
And what are these countries not a part of?
It's,
NATO,
Yeah.
not a part of. Is
Wait,
China
is
part of
Brazil-
World Economic Forum?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
To the point
Yeah.
where Klaus Schwab introduced Xi Jinping.
Oh, that's right.
No,
Yeah, Xi Jinping's a big
constructing
deal there.
review.
That's right.
But what it represents is right now, it is an alternative form of currency that has scarcity behind it. There's only a finite amount. And that's the thing that people don't seem to understand that try to disparage it. They're like, it's digital. It's digital, yes, but it's untrackable. The blockchain system, Casey, you can attest to this. The blockchain system makes it almost impossible for a government to do to you holding Bitcoin that they are doing to people who have Visas and MasterCards all over Russia and stuff like that, where they're shutting it off on a moment's notice. They try to pretend and make you think they have some way of controlling these things and negotiating these things. They don't. What it represents is a significant threat to the central bank because you have the ability to remove your cash from their system and put it in this alternative investment. And they're going to do everything they can to make you think that is not viable. But what gives anything value? What is the ultimate source of value?
Does anybody have an idea how they would? I mean, I just saw Biden talking about it, that they need to make it more regulated. I don't know how
Nope,
he goes.
fuck them.
Well,
No.
I get that, but what would his plan be?
Implement a cryptocurrency version of the IRS and the Federal Reserve.
You can't.
That's what you would
regulate
have to do. You'd have to implement a central banking system in between all transactions. And that's the problem, is you can't really do that the way it's set up right now.
Sorry, Casey.
Yeah, your chat. How much caffeine did you have, Kevin? You're like jacked up on goofballs.
Not
Right.
much caffeine, but a lot of meth.
Maybe you need to drink a little bit. Remember last show you were like really chill? Oh, you are drinking. Okay.
I saw something on TikTok. Do you remember the song "I Want Something Else to Get Me Through This"?
Y'all. I'll tone it
Se-
down a little bit.
Semi-charmed
I
kind of life.
apologize.
Do you realize that whole song is talking about doing meth and bumps of cocaine? I didn't even know that. I had no idea until anyways, totally side subject. To end this crypto talk and to get back into the show, and Suni, if you want to add anything, let me know. To go along with all of this, the best, and I love JP Sears, the best, really, Kevin, the best I've seen JP at his finest was one of his latest rumbles where he talks about Klaus Schwab. And it is unreal. And it's not like he's just analyzing something. He is showing video and their symposiums at World Economic Forum with Biden watching, Obama watching, Leonardo DiCaprio watching, like weird shit, Justin Trudeau watching, and them explaining how they want to program human beings and control everything. It is creepy, and the fact that they have, and it's not just Schwab, it's actually Schwab's main guy. So if you guys look up JP Sears' Rumble, you'll see it, and it's about Klaus Schwab. It is that one. It's hard for even a denier of this craziness to look at and go,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a lie. It's blatant. It's blatant at this point. Anyway.
Suni, what were you going to say? You were going to say something earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, like this is the response that Americans are getting to their protest. The lack of interest, the lack of, just like, well, it's too little too late. Well, it's not really gaining any traction. Like this response from Americans is exactly what I was talking about when people get so excited about things across the ocean. People are more excited and more in support of Ukraine, and they don't even give a shit about their own rights. Like you couldn't even stand with people on political issues. You couldn't stand with people when it came to COVID. There are things that we just don't do at home, and we support other countries.
It's crazy.
That was just, I don't know. I'm just bringing it full circle to help people understand, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
real
Like,
quick.
Selectively
Why-
too, Suni.
why can't why don't we have as much support as we had for Canada? That literally, it angers me, man. This is
So-
home, and we support other shit more than we support home. Like, come on.
I see. So before you go,
Yeah.
I think the difference between Canada and Ukraine is Canada was almost trying to be and I know we're not going to fully agree on this. I think Canada was trying to be a voice for the world against these mandates. They were trying to speak for everybody. It wasn't just the truckers. Whereas Ukraine right now, we are all of a sudden virtue signaling to a country that has massive amounts of problems on their own. And we are all of a sudden taking this up to the point that we, and I'm sure we'll get to this, that we are talking about importing more oil now from Saudi Arabia, who has been committing genocide against Yemen for however long, and Venezuela that kills its own people. We are all of a sudden the Ukrainians matter more than the fact that now we're going to go do business with countries that we have just allowed this to happen for however long.
Anthony.
Anthony.
So
Oh.
you mentioned Saudi Arabia and Yemen, but what's going on in Syria? Who are we, the Americans, supporting against the Syrian regime? Oh, wait a second. Is that the sound of Al Qaeda and ISIS I hear?
Yeah.
Is that the sound of, oh, yeah, oh, wait, the same people in Yemen, right? What matters is, again, to get to Noam Chomsky's worthy versus the unworthy victim, manufacturing consent, right? They are trying to manufacture the consent of the American people to engage in World War III. That's basically what they're asking, right? So you guys on the panel, Suni, Mo, Casey, you guys have heard the calls for the no-fly zone over Ukraine, right?
Right.
What does that mean? What does it mean to create a no-fly zone? Does it involve us shooting down Russian planes? Actively destroying them? Oh, yes, it does in fact involve us getting actively involved in the Ukrainian crisis that is going on and instigating World War III. Regardless of which side you are on. Suni, you know the answer to this. Regardless of which side you support through this war, who ends up winning?
The globalists.
Oh, weird. Weird how that works.
That's it.
Weird how all of this works in their favor.
It's amazing. That's all I'm gonna say. It's amazing to see conservatives have Ukrainian flags as their default picture when you people didn't know what the F this country was not even 2 or 3 months ago. People don't know about the coup that was staged there, the war that actually started in 2014. People don't want to talk about the fact that Ukrainian soldiers were shelling the shit out of Donbas citizens. We don't want to talk about that, but Russia's bad.
How corrupt
right.
they are. How corrupt they are. Like, it's ridiculous what we're fighting over. What we're fighting, what we're saying we stand with them on. I don't even think people realize.
Man.
I think it's very similar to when we found people that like were unV'd, that at the last minute were like, oh, I'm dying. I wish I would have been V'd. Like, oh my God, look at all this. It's like 1 person out of every 2 million. Anyways, it's kind of the percentages. So again, I've been doing a lot of morning work with radio affiliates, so I had to be up on my stuff. Fun fact, there is a poll in Ukraine that came out.
When are you coming on my show? I don't care what your fun fact is.
We're gonna make it happen. I gotta do that because it's good for me to stay fresh. Let's maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know.
Yes, tomorrow morning, please tomorrow morning.
I'll do it in the car on the way to do another show.
Oh,
anyways, so that's worked. So
I'm not a car guy.
Kevin a topic.
It's on the.
When is Kevin a topic?
He doesn't do it in the car.
He's telling me that I'm a car guy. Like, I'm a do you in the car is when I'm a do you.
Okay, that's awkward. We'll get to Brittany Griner later. So the poll that was since she's a lesbian. Never mind. I don't own a Subaru, so it doesn't make sense. So here's the poll that was out in January of 2022. This is 2 months ago. This just came out. This poll: 10% of Ukrainians had faith in their own government. 10%.
Yep.
January, they said Zelensky had 30% support to run again. So he was an unpopular president. And by the way, his quotes, as much as I think he looks like a badass in photos, his quotes are now being proven that there is no evidence there through a source, an unnamed source, that he said, I don't want to ride. I want, what was the infamous quote? There's no audio of this.
I don't want to ride.
I don't need a ride. I need ammo.
There's no evidence of it. There's one unnamed person that said that this was said. It got passed through a game of telephone. Anyways, 23% total in the country said they would vote for him again. 10% have faith in the parliament, government, same thing. And 40% said they would not fight for Ukraine. So there's even that amount of people that don't want to even. This is an insane amount.
Yeah.
Well, then I went even deeper, and I'll talk about Patreon in a second.
That's what she said. I mean, damn it.
I went even deeper and I have friends in Moldova. I have friends in Odessa, friends that have family. So I've called my American friends that talk to their family every day. Odessa, Ukraine, and Moldova is the 2 areas I spoke with, and 1 Russian and 1 Polish. So their families, it's not like it's just like, oh my God, Russia is the end of the world. There are a lot of them that are saying, I would say it's a 50-50 split, that have said that Ukraine was the aggressor. because there was a.
I told you guys.
I know it doesn't
What have
look
we
like
been
that to the
saying?
American public,
Told
and
y'all.
I am not a fan of Putin killing innocent, unarmed civilians. I get it, but there was an agreement between Ukraine and Russia because Ukraine is on Russia's border to make
NATO
sure
agreement.
they did not join NATO and to make sure they did not join the EU. And now all Russia wants in these meetings that keep getting tossed back like Russia is being the asshole, Russia wants Crimea.
Yeah.
They want the Donbas region, and they don't want them to join NATO because that was the agreement. And now everybody thinks that, and again, because they're seeing the shelling, the bombing, and all these different things that, again, had happened in Ukraine already to their own people, they're being misinformed across the board. Again, not a fan of Putin doing what he's doing to civilians and during the ceasefire. That's a big issue. But this is not an innocent group of people by any means.
At
an innocent
all.
country.
That is the best. Like, that's the best synopsis of everything that I've heard so far. I'm glad you did that. That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Zelensky is our Biden, to tell you the truth, with a little bit more cognitive ability. I mean, I think literally he is just as corrupt as our corrupt leadership on this end. I think the only reason why they protect him, I think the only reason why mainstream media covers this is because they have to protect their asses. They have to protect all the corruption and all the money that they're trying to funnel through Ukraine. And that's what this is all about. This has nothing to do with the Ukrainian people. And I don't even believe that Putin is out there just killing innocent citizens. Okay. I think they're just casualties of war, which is something that happens. Period.
No, there's. And Suni, I think you'll agree with this one really quick because I'm just going to give a quick little input here. We are not involved in this. We, as Americans, do not have any idea of the way the demographics and the cultures interact in this country. All we are doing by participating is escalating the situation to the point of world war. We need to get our asses out of this shit because at the end of the day, the whole reason Putin has any kind of power is because the climate justice warriors in the West have decided that it is more important to go windmill and solar green than it is to make sure that the entirety of Western Europe is not dependent on Russia for all of its energy.
But let's. I'm going to take a quick breather on this subject. We'll come right back because there are some questions about what I have scrolling on the bottom. Somebody did say it is a little bit more expensive than Patreon. If you want to keep supporting us for $5 a month on Patreon, I love you. Please continue to do it. I'm not shutting down that page, but we have partnered with the Great American Syndicate. I think they charge $18 a month because if you're a Be the Change follower, you're getting it for $15, $14.99. And it's what I suck at Patreon. So I have not been able to provide a lot of value. I don't have time to do a lot of chats. There will be more value for the $15. There's also going to be a 30% discount on anything from their store and our store. So you get things at a much cheaper price, and you get a in-person ticket to the Great American Summit, the one that we talked a lot about. So if you can travel, great. You get an in-person ticket, general admission, or a virtual ticket. So there is a lot more value, and we're going to be continuing to add stuff like that to make it quick. So that is what you see scrolling on the bottom. If you can't do $15 a month and you already support us, I love you for it. That's great. Just please continue to do the $5 or whatever it is. But if you want the opportunity to do more, because there's going to be more people involved. There's going to be Barb and Dave, and they're going to we'll bring on some guests. We have some different stuff. So there's a little bit more value to it. So that's why we're not getting rid of Patreon, but we're providing an offer that we would prefer anybody that is able to spend that $15 to go in there because there is more value to it. That's it. Sorry about that, guys. What are we watching? Jimmy Dore? You're muted, Kev. Kevin?
All right, sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
This right here.
This clip's great.
I haven't seen this yet.
Russian forces, I think, frankly, were too gentle. They've now corrected that. So I would say another 10 days, this should be completely over. But the question is, what is it that Zelensky is going to do? The Russians have made it very clear what they want is a neutral Ukraine. This could have ended days ago if he accepted that. And then they can adjust.
So there's a colonel from the United States military saying this could have been over a long time ago. Zelensky would have just agreed to keep his country neutral. Won't do it. Here we go.
Borders, but the eastern part of Ukraine is firmly in Russian hands. But again, the Russians are not seizing territory. They're destroying Ukrainian forces. That's their focus.
Colonel, it sounds like you don't approve of Zelensky's stand.
Oh, I think Zelensky is a puppet, and he is putting huge numbers of his own population at unnecessary risk. And quite frankly, most of what comes out of Ukraine is debunked as lies within 24 to 48 hours. The notions of taking and retaking airfields, all of this is nonsense. It hasn't happened.
It's not a
Can we just like,
Great.
you know, when everyone was at my throat, bro, and yes, I'm gonna take this moment to say I told you so. Where are all of you now?
I was with you the whole time.
Everything, I know you were. Everything Russo just said, I said it on the live that we did live.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying it since the start of this shit, and everybody was coming at my neck, bro. This is mind blowing.
You were,
Sorry.
I believe you were
Sorry.
very right. I do. I'm not going to go as far as to be a Putin sympathizer in any way, shape, or form. But I do. You looked at it from a different perspective, very, very early, and you were there before I even saw any of the conservative influencers talking about it. And once you broke it down for me, and I listened, and you gave me a little bit. Again, I appeal to logic. And we don't always agree on stuff, but when there was a logical explanation that was then backed up by proof within 24 hours when we started to see every single bit of info and photos debunked and videos of acting and all this stuff. And again, I don't think all of it was fake. There is some actual things going on, but the stuff that the media wanted to push in our face has turned out to be very, very false. So you had great logic, and then it was backed up by a basic analysis. And the crazy thing is, mainstream media today is still not playing this game.
Nope.
Saturday Night Live is still making fun of anybody that thinks that there's two sides to this story, just like they did with the V, just like they did with the face diapies, all the different things.
Knuckle bump on being like the ones that were coming out and saying straight away, like, yeah, so there's probably two sides to this story.
Right.
Like,
well, the great thing is we had a conversation. That's the whole damn point. We don't allow that anymore.
You're right.
And you're still not gonna. You saw the guy's face on Fox Business. He's like, oh God, this guy's trying to say something on my. Nope. You know.
I have asked. Sorry, Casey. Just this one point. I have asked at least 15 students on my campus what the Maidan coup was. 0 of them know what it is.
Explain to the audience what the Maidan coup is.
Oh, that is when we, as the American people, or as the American government, decided that we were going to depose the democratically elected Russian puppet that existed before Zelensky and make sure that we were inputting our own puppet. So we, the American, as Joe Biden said, I will not get on this plane and you will not get this money until you do what I want. Yeah, that was the Maidan coup.
That was Trump, wasn't it? Because he was impeached. That was Trump.
No. So it was Joe Biden was actually the one who decided I'm going to actually exert force. Donald Trump just asked that people look into it.
Hold on, but that's just a rumor. That like nobody can corroborate that, right? Like
no, I mean it's very difficult to watch the video of Joe Biden saying this in person, like because obviously it makes you uncomfortable to see Joe Biden in person, like. It makes all of us want to throw up.
There's actual video of bribery.
You guys,
there's video of governmental bribery talking about it, and he is the current president. And this was video before he was. That's insane. Suni, I got to give you credit. You did a great job on this one.
You
Kudos,
killed it, dude.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Good job, Sue.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks to Suni, but I texted you before saying I think we're on the wrong side. Thanks, jerkface.
When did you texted me that? But then you were.
I was right there with you the whole time.
What happened?
In Casey's defense, he did say that, but then he was the last one to fully switch over to the middle.
I am not switching over. I don't want the war to happen anyways. Period.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't think the war should be happening. I'm not saying I'm defending Russia. That's how I'm not switching over.
And I'm drunk, so I don't remember where I was.
I care about the people in general.
Sunni had to go backstage because he's crying tears of joy that we were giving him props.
But what do you
So-
mean? Like
So
expand on your
can we
comments.
take a moment here, like
Casey.
for reals? So Mo, like Anthony,
got
you
you, Mo.
guys are
I'll get
more conservative than Casey and I and Sunni, as in like you guys are more mainstream. So there is the sentiment, there is the idea that conservatives are somehow. So before I ask the next question, just a yes or no, do you think I or Sunni are pro Putin? Just a simple yes or no.
Well, Sunni's out here to defend herself, but I think
Yeah.
that she's pro Putin and pro Putin.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
I'll ask her when she gets back on screen.
So, like, I don't think she is. I know I'm not pro Putin per se. I am. Putin has a reason for doing this. So,
I'm the same.
The question I'm going to ask being, conservatives seem to be being conflated with being pro Putin, the same way anyone that was not for the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan was pro-terrorism. Sunni,
I'm not even pro Biden,
Well-
and that's our own president. So, anyways, go ahead. Sunni,
like, I just want to ask you before I ask them this question, Sunni. I want to ask you:
Mo.
are you yes or just a simple yes or no? Are you pro Putin, or is there like, is it pro Putin based on like the narrative, or are you actually legitimately pro Putin? That's not a
I
yes.
feel like
or
I've
no.
been clear. I understand why he's doing it. If
Okay,
America were to put
Fair
fucking
enough,
if Mexico were to put some shit at our borders and put some shit at Canadian borders and then implement their leaders in their country, are you telling me America wouldn't step up? I'm not pro Putin, and anybody who's pushing that weak ass narrative, bro, screw you.
Okay,
I'm not
that
pro
is-
Putin.
I wanted to
been
give you a
pro
chance to
Putin.
answer the question.
Okay, yeah. So then no, that's what I was looking for, right? Like, but it comes down to, so why is it that people on the left say that if you are conservative, and you make the point that you just made, Sunni, and this is to Russo and Mo as well, obviously, what do you guys think the argument the left is making to suggest that you guys potentially, by disagreeing that all of the blame lays on Russia, right? It's obviously Russia has some of the blame. Why do you think they are saying that you are pro Putin if you disagree with the full-on Ukraine narrative? If you
Because
get
the
what I'm
left is
asking there.
the
Do I
left
need
is
to
a
make it
bunch of
better?
the left is a bunch of fucking idiots. We already know
Okay.
that. They basically have to like put you in a corner, and you have to kind of side with everything in that corner, or they're just completely confused. It's why they don't understand why we can support Trump and also question Trump, right?
Yeah.
They have a hard problem with that, a hard time with that as well. I don't have to support somebody to say I agree with a particular point that you are making,
That's
or a particular argument that you have. I can support you on that one little thing and leave everything else to the side. So
That's
that's my thing.
So, Mo, you had a question for Casey. You wanted him to expound on something. What was it?
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to hear Casey's side because, he sees things differently from, I think, majority from Sunni. But I just kind of wanted to hear, you said that we shouldn't be over there fighting. You're against anybody, I guess, getting hurt in this conflict. So I just kind of wanted to hear you expand on that a little bit more. Like, what do you think should be happening?
Well, what I think should be happening is very different than what the U.S.'s involvement is. But I'll take that as a two-pronged approach: our involvement, and then what's going on. What's going on? I don't like it. I don't like wars. I don't like people dying. I don't want any of that to happen, especially when it comes to citizens and just civilians. However, there's a conflict there, just like there will always be a conflict with Israel and with other countries. Then you have Afghanistan. You're going to have issues there. They have to deal with their problems. They have to deal with their problems. And that's where I feel it has to happen. I don't like it. And I don't support Russia invading them and killing a bunch of people. If they have a problem, then fine. But I struggle with that problem per se. But I do see what you guys are talking about on the agenda. And I feel it's a little different because Kevin gave me this idea. And I kind of feel like this is the game plan. So, and that's where I'm going to get into the U.S. side. the U.S. is involved in this in a very different way. We're trying to be hands off, but then also give money and guns, right?
Proxy
and
war.
be like, hey, we got you. Here you go. Here you go, big brother. You're fine. Just go. You got this. No, my problem with it is we should not have anything involved at all. Nothing. I would prefer us to not even give any aid.
What about humanitarian aid?
I'm not a fan. As a libertarian, I'm not a fan of any humanitarian aid
There you go.
for any country. I don't think we should be supporting any country. But that's where we need to take care of ourselves first. We're giving more money to other countries than we are to our own people to take care of our own people. But with what we did, I think this is an agenda that we instigated this to get Russia to go into Ukraine and get this going. And then it's going to force Finland and Sweden out of obligation to join NATO. And Kevin gave me this idea. I did not. And I think that is exactly what's going to happen.
State that again. State that again.
So Sweden and Finland have been on the fence of joining NATO for years.
Right.
They've always
Sweden's the longest neutral country in the world.
And so with us and our involvement in this, we entice this to happen more, our leadership, to get them to come in. Russia's going to get more land, take over Ukraine, be able to get more money out of it. We will be able to pump some more money into it, which means our politicians are going to pad their pockets, and then we're going to get Sweden and Finland into NATO is what's going to happen. And that's my projection.
Who wins?
No one, because
NATO.
people died.
The globalists.
Yeah.
The
Well, right.
globalists.
Especially
Yeah.
since we're the only ones that truly pay our fair share in
So-
NATO.
The
Right.
point I'm making, so like the pro Putin side of things, right? There's no real, like, if you're honest about everything going on, there is no pro Putin, right? Everybody loses if you're honest. But Sunni, like, this is specifically for you because you've been very far out there. Why is it that you think the argument you present has led people to label you specifically as pro Putin? Like Dr.
Because
Evil
I'm not-
quotations around this.
It's because I'm not hopping on bandwagons. I'm standing on my own. Like I don't really care if I have everybody standing with me. I'm gonna go with what makes sense. When 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 for me, and you're trying to make it equal something else, okay, I'm gonna take a look at this different. And it's because I've never been vocal against Putin. I like the fact that he's a nationalist, but does that mean that I agree with all the bad things that he does? No. Two things can be true at once. I'm not pro Putin just because I'm smart enough to realize what's going on. I like, and that's just it. Like, people can't be mad if you're like well versed in an area, you know, history, or you've been paying attention to certain things. I was just able to pick it up.
Yep.
So
That's
it's
fair.
because they can't pigeonhole you. They can't put you here. They can't put you there. You're not giving a conservative take. You're damn sure not giving a liberal take. Where do you stand? Like,
So-
you're not libertarian either. Okay, so then you're just pro Russia. You're pro Putin because they can't put me anywhere. So, bro, the only response I have to people like that is pick up a book and read. Literally, pay attention to history. Look
People
into
under-
all these things.
People underestimate Putin's intelligence
apologize.
too. He's a very intelligent man.
That's
Mhm.
a good point, Casey. So let me pose this question to you guys, and I'm gonna give a little bit of a preface before I ask the question. So, is it possible that 100% of people who have been introduced to the New World Order, and what I mean by that is, like, you know, you are a brand new recruit and you're meeting Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum, what do you think the chances are that 100% of people who have been introduced to them at the World Economic Forum and the globalist elites agree with what they say? What do you think the chances are that 100% of people have agreed to it?
Say it again. Like, shorten it up. Say it again.
So what I'm saying is, like, imagine Sunni, you are the next billionaire, and you go to the World Economic Forum, and Klaus Schwab pulls you into the back room with all the other elites, right?
Yeah.
what do you think the chance is that 100% of people who are in your position where you're getting introduced to the World Economic Forum and their machinations
Mhm.
agree to what they're doing? Think that what they're doing is good?
I'm gonna say it's very slim to none.
I'm going to say
I
0%.
don't know how.
chance.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody can be like, okay, yeah, we need to do this. This is great. I think everyone has special interest in it.
Yeah.
They're benefiting off of it in some way, and that's how they sleep at night. But I don't think anybody is just like, okay, I'm 100% on board, and this is the right thing to do.
You
No
know what
way.
I think? I think they make a very sweet offer, because there's no way that I'm just going to use Leonardo DiCaprio as an example. There's no way some kid comes in when he's young and starts talking about being World Economic Forum or part of the Hitler Youth or whatever they call it. It's not Hitler Youth. What is that group, the youth thing called?
The Young Global Leadership Program.
So nobody goes in there, I think, with bad intentions. I think they're curious. They're honored to be a part of something so big. So how is it that not a single person has said, no, not for me? I think you have two options.
That right there. What do you think the chance is that no one has ever been introduced to their machinations and said, yeah, bruh, this ain't for me?
Once you're there, I don't believe you have a choice.
I think it's 0% that at least. I think it's 0% chance that every single human being who has ever been introduced to the New World Order, the World Economic Forum, I think it's a 0% chance that every single person has said yes. I think they have. I think here's the thing: and it sounds like it's conspiracy, but it's the whole concept of you're with us now. You get anything and everything you want. You have control over your career, whatever it is. The other option is something you don't want to know about. Fair enough. But what happens when someone says no? And additionally, what happens if the person that says no is the prime minister of one of the world's foremost superpowers?
So you're talking about Putin? Possible.
I'm saying, what would it look like if someone was introduced to the machinations of the World Economic Forum?
Is that the word of the day?
I know, right? Can somebody give me a definition? Machinations. What the fuck does that mean?
The action, how they operate, what they do, what it is,
the
covert things that they do.
It's essentially a fancy way. It's a collegiate way of saying mechanism.
Yeah. So what would it look like if someone were to say no to the Klaus Schwabs of the world and also be in charge of one of the most powerful countries? How would that represent itself?
Well, then you're talking about Putin, but I think the individual or the celebrity or the whatever you want to call it or the world leader, you don't have a choice. Your choice is one or the other. You get to be whoever you want to be in your world of study.
Well, what if you say that to me and I say no, screw you?
Then they'll say the other option is something you don't want to know and you won't be on.
The other option is you move your military alliance up against my border.
That's if you're talking about Putin. I'm talking about the individual. I'm just saying.
So Putin, being a graduate of the Young Global Leadership Summit, being mentioned by Santa Claus himself, Santa Claus as I call him himself, as one of his most prized proteges. What would it look like if someone were to be introduced to what these global leaders want to do with the world and say, yeah, I don't like this? I think, and this is just me going out on a limb, it might be very similar to how certain world leaders are currently acting on the global stage. And it's not to justify what they are doing, but to present another potential perspective for why they're behaving the way they are.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then to this comment, yes, he did, but he never was in attendance. I think that's the big difference.
Why is that because he said no when he was introduced to it?
Right. Once you are there, you no longer have a choice. That's my personal opinion. I feel that's
you get where I'm coming from on this, right?
What?
Oh, I was just asking, Suni, you get where I'm coming from on this one, right?
Yeah, it's like can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we can.
It's like a bird's eye view take on all this.
Yeah, like
you look at it from above.
what would it look like? And Suni, do you
Right.
think that if say I was the leader of a superpower and I was introduced to the World Economic Forum or the New World Order, and I said no, what would it look like in response?
I think you'd be public enemy number one.
I mean, didn't that happen to Putin at the G20 summit? Right?
Yep.
That he was like ousted and he literally got on a plane and fucking left the thing early because he was like, no.
It happened at Davos too.
And
Yeah.
even with Trump not going, look at what happened to Trump. Even though Trump wasn't there, look at what happened to him. They like and I said this the other night on a live. The greatest bioweapon ever created is COVID, and who's to say that wasn't a purpose of getting certain people out of office? Whether or not you could say whatever you want about the election, standard thought process was you bring down a country's economy, force lockdowns. Yes, being awake, not woke is the point, Kevin. I see you, but the whole concept behind all of this is. I mean, Trump was the loser in this, and somehow some of the other countries became stronger because they were praised for their efforts that really weren't any different than the United States. So I think this whole concept of a bioweapon being released, and as we said, Xi Jinping's still part of the WEF, it's just, it makes a lot of sense when you step back and look at it, that certain people that have refused to be a part of Davos and refused to be a part of the World Economic Forum are right now facing either not being president of their country or facing this situation. I think it's...
How many times was Trump bailed out by the Rothschild banks?
Oh God.
Casey's like, oh God. By the way, Casey, you got a message earlier. You had one earlier.
Said
It
the
said you had
R
a
word, I'm
message in your
sorry.
box. Have you seen that video of the body bags?
I have seen it. Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's just another video from it, right? What does it prove? Nothing.
Well, it was clearly fake. So it's another
Right.
one. It's just...
It's nothing surprising that we don't know, right? Like the videos that I got you, I know are coming because of geotagging and based upon our recordings.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this situation, does it help anything? No, it doesn't help anything at all. The only thing we're doing is we are adding to this mix of all of this misinformation and we keep populating it.
Mhm.
The part that I would love to see is us just to be hands off and be like, you fucking deal with it.
Oh, I got, by the way, I
You
got breaking news.
Dildo?
Biden is a part of International Women's Day. Ladies, get ready for this because this makes sense for International Women's Day. Biden requested $2.6 billion from Congress to fund global gender equity programs.
Oh yeah, that's the theme. That's the theme of International Women's Day. What the hell? Can somebody explain that to me? What does that even mean?
How does that help women? You're literally getting them to have men compete against with the tuck in the...
It's
Right.
purely,
All right,
it is.
That's a great segue. Let's talk about Lori Lightfoot's dick.
Oh Jesus!
Let's do that.
Anybody? Who actually threw the story in the chat? Who was
Wait.
it? Was it Suni or was that Mo? Mo,
I
you want
thought
to?
it was.
I'm a little
No, it
too
wasn't
close
me.
for that
It
one.
wasn't me. But I
Suni?
saw the video. Does somebody have the video?
Oh, it was Nikki.
It was Nikki.
Who's got the video? Can somebody find the video?
Of Lori Lightfoot's dick? Like, no, I ain't on Snapchat.
I believe it's called Snapchat.
All right.
Does anybody know where the video is? Can I look for it?
I'm gonna try to
So
pull it over.
we're
So-
go ahead. While
Just-
we're doing this real quick, though, since we are going to end the show talking about V's, we are going to have to shift over to our other page. So I am going to be posting something. If and not Facebook, you're good. But on YouTube, we're going to be having everybody go to a slightly different page, the one that doesn't have warnings on it. So just as a heads up, you're going to see some comments. If you see it and you're on a YouTube page, if you see the comment, click on the page that I send it to you. Okay.
And if you build it, they will come.
Lock it up.
Oh, good hell.
Anybody? else?
Yeah, I'm almost there. Sorry, it's loading.
So
Freaking
I
hell!
just,
clicked
I
on
just
the
wanted
wrong
to
link.
point out. So, like, I just wanted to make sure, like, the point I was getting across earlier, right? Like, it's just about different perspectives. It's just about the idea that we can't possibly know at any given time all the inputs and outputs of someone's decision-making process. We can only ever guesstimate, right? And so, like, you know, Casey, Mo, you had ideas. Suni, like, I presented you with what I thought was going on in regards to that as I call it. there's just a lot of propaganda. What I realized early on is just like, I don't fucking know what's going on. I don't care anymore.
Sorry, Nancy.
If I don't know what's going on, I don't care. Let's focus back on the fact that, holy shit, I have to mortgage a kidney to afford my next tank of gas.
Yeah, no doubt.
How much you selling it for?
Well, I sell my sperm because it's unvaccinated for about $20,000 a shot. But my kidneys about like $5,000 because they're not as good.
Let's address this real quick because I know that Casey said this earlier on something else, and I didn't have a chance to counter. I don't think Russia underestimated Ukraine. I think
that's what you meant.
I think Russia overestimated Russia.
I think Russia is avoiding doing what they can do to Ukraine. I think that 40-mile long caravan. I know they've run out of fuel in places. They're stalled. I think that this is them being halfway decent. They're showing this is what we could do. Can you just sign the treaty and end this? Go ahead.
I know the answer to this question. I actually know the way that the Russian military, because of my job, my previous job and everything. So
you worked for Kmart, if you're wondering. Go ahead.
Yep. I worked for an alphabet soup agency. I'm not going to tell you which one. So when the Soviet Union fell, the question became, well, like the Russian Defense Department had to answer the question, how do we defend ourselves? Their options were develop airplanes and stuff like this that can go air to air and compete with, the F-22. Yeah, we can't fucking compete with an F-22. We don't have that kind of money. What they did was they created basically a giant curtain of anti-air missiles. They really have not developed any kind of actual assault vehicles beyond what they had in 1984. So the problem that Russia's running into is that while they are almost impenetrable, but from the air, like if we were to actually try to attack Russia, like from the air, we would get absolutely annihilated because what they literally did was created an iron curtain of anti-air missiles. But
talking about Russia?
Yes, Russia did. But their assault force is really like they are as near peer as you can. I'm just going to end on this. This will be the last thing I say. Russia has the second most prepared military on planet Earth. That isn't NATO. Behind China.
So you're saying you're essentially reinforcing what I said. If they want to, this would be a much quicker situation.
All they have is nuclear weapons. That's it.
Oh, so you're saying they don't have the capability of doing what we're talking about?
No, they do not. Their options are shoot down every plane that comes into their airspace or nuke everything we have. They are not. They have created the first 21st century tank with their TI-17. They have like 4 of them. They will not send any of them out there. Their TI-94, their T-94, and their T-83.
Like Terminator.
Yes. So Russia's military. All this is showing to China and Russia is like, okay, if we're not going to go nuclear, please God, don't let them attack us. Like, if nuclear war is not an option, America wins.
This is your field of expertise, so I'll take your take on it. I mean, I talked to some infantry people, and again, you're more, you know a little bit more about this specifically.
Their military is miserable. China's military is worse than Russia's. The only thing that is stopping everything is nuclear war, and that's what we have to avoid at all costs.
Got it.
That's it. Sorry. Right. I apologize,
well,
everyone.
We are having a little trouble finding the video, but Casey did find this.
Wow.
So that is Lori Lightfoot on Halloween. I'm sorry, on Wednesday.
I just couldn't help it. I stumbled across that on Twitter. I'm like, oh, I have to share.
All right, so let's paraphrase. Where did Nikki send us the video, or did she just send the article?
She sent the article. She sent the article. Okay. The video is of Jen Psaki. The article just explains what she went over, which we have. It's word for word of what she said.
Let's see what it says. So there's a lawsuit against. There's a lawsuit by the city. Former Park District Attorney alleges that Mayor Lori Lightfoot berated staff in obscene terms over Columbus statue and told them, my dick is bigger than yours, and the Italians. My dick is bigger than yours and the Italians. I have
My
the
dick
biggest
is like
dick
the Brooklyn Bridge.
in
Yo,
Chicago.
Dick look like a little kid's.
Man, you can't even let him finish a quote.
I know.
My
Come
dick
on.
belong on the silver screen. Yo, Dick went straight to DVD.
He is not a
What?
rapper, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Mickey Avalon, y'all.
I know. Did not attach, so you looked it up. All good. So anybody want to talk about Lori Lightfoot? I mean, what would happen if a normal, if anybody, first off, I don't think anybody in politics would really be caught at this level saying something that dumb. Like, I don't know. I can't even, I don't know. I can't even function thinking about how crappy of a leader she is of a city, on top of like just making these kind of statements and being the type person that's like, Trump was really mean and rude to people.
Yeah, and has there been any comment like from the city on what she said?
No. What was the Jen Psaki video about? Because I never got a chance to see it.
That one is where. Here, we'll just play it. Let me cue it up.
Is it about Lori Lightfoot?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, I thought it was okay. So I don't know. Sorry guys, we don't have any of this information. That's my bad. But regardless, this thing said it. I don't know. I love that Kevin just put himself in timeout. All right, I guess we can move on then.
But wait a minute. Why did she say the comment to begin with? Like, what prompted that?
She's getting sued, and so this is where she's trying to stature herself, I believe. Let me.
No,
because,
I think she's getting sued over that. That's how I'm reading it.
Is that what it is? She's getting sued over that
because she was berating her staff. So by a city attorney alleges, they're alleging that she berated staff. So essentially, it's some kind of abusive lawsuit, because in obscene terms over when I guess they were arguing whether or not the Columbus statue should still be there, which this is worth a conversation. Using tax dollars to take a statue down, cool. And that's when she said it, and I guess that is what the lawsuit. Which I think that's a frivolous lawsuit, but I think it should be media worthy to know that this woman is so stupid that she berates a room of people like that. Kevin, did you have your hand up, Honey Muffin Butter Pants?
Yeah, I had my hand up because I wanted to talk about Kamala Harris too.
Okay, go ahead. What do you want to say about? We can move on. We don't have a lot.
Can I just play a quote from Kamala Harris?
Sure.
Are you trying to talk about her dick also? Is that what we're doing?
Are we talking about her neck?
Her dick is massive, and
Listen.
I'm just jealous of it. And I just wanted to play this little tiny thing for you.
Right now,
Oh God.
Ukraine. Break it down in layman's terms for people who don't understand what's going on and how can this directly affect the people of the United States.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes against.
That's just all I wanted to play.
Have you seen the video of her?
I feel like
she speaks so confidently with that, and you're like, "What's the world?"
Stupid does she think the American people are?
Stupid.
Go ahead, Mo. Sorry.
I was about to say, like, if I had a dick, I would have lost my heart on listening to that voice. Seriously.
Unless you're Montel
Poor
Williams
Doug.
remembering the good old days.
Poor Doug, man. He's got to wake up. He's got to imagine seeing that face in the middle of ecstasy. Okay, just imagine it for a second.
Maybe he's the bitch in the relationship.
Probably.
Suni, what's going on over there?
I'm just along.
She's
for the
over there
ride,
like,
man.
you guys need Jesus.
What do you want to talk before we get into our final topics? Or so we got Brittany. Do you want to talk about Brittany Griner, or what do you want to talk about soon? What are you going to be doing your live about tonight?
We're getting into oil fracking, the permits, and how America, Biden's purposely trying to cripple the country by not allowing them to drill, because we could be completely energy independent. We could be completely oil and gas independent in so many different ways, but they're choosing to work with actual tyrants, to get oil. And
practice
then
on us, Suni, because this is an area that no matter how much I have the conversation, it feels like I can't get through to people on exactly what's going on. So let's because I think this is an important topic. So here's your practice round. Why is it that people keep talking about the 9,000 leases that are out? Why Biden is saying that there's more leases now than there was during Trump? What's the truth in this?
so a lease is like, it's pretty much like I'm gonna give you permission to do it, but I'm not gonna sign off on it. So there are leases out there, but what he's not saying is he's not signing off on these people starting the drilling process. And most people don't pay attention to that. So instead of allowing us to drill home, he is choosing to pay for oil from other countries that act as an adversary to us all. And then it goes through a refining process, which we don't do at home either. And they sell it back to Americans at a super heightened rate. So we're paying taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes because this guy is purposely trying to cripple the country. This is how you break an economy. So essentially what we're doing is we're boosting their economy because we're stimulating it and we're shitting on our own.
Yep.
So is this an accurate statement? Like, is that kind of what you're saying? So we have these leases, but just because you have a lease doesn't mean you can technically.
They don't have a permit. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just like mining any minerals or anything in the United States. You got to be able to get extra approval to do that.
Why hasn't Peter Ducey's been grilling hard the last? Why hasn't he? Because he's been talking about oil. Why hasn't he followed up with that question?
I thought he
that
did.
very same question that you just said, Russo, is what I've been thinking about every time I look at these press conferences. I'm like, you guys are not asking him the questions that need to be asked. Like I did a TikTok being goofy. I'm like, here's a conundrum, tell me, like, help us all understand how you have to take coal, oil, and gas away from us. Okay. But you're going to be using it to create energy.
So Grant brings up a great point, but this isn't something that's done tomorrow. So this is
exactly.
And if you're not paying attention to what our government does, we are working on renewables more than we ever have in history, 100-fold. But again,
what do you still need?
Exactly. This is not a technology that happens overnight, Grant. I agree. Like I'm a supporter of renewable energies. I'm a supporter of hydrogen cars more so than lithium. I think there's a lot of different things that we have to be looking at, but this is not something that is feasible on a mass scale until well after 2030. So in the meantime, while there is still energy rich areas like America, like Louisiana, Texas, the panhandle, all throughout the middle, the central of the part of the country, then why are we not doing these things? And I think there's a smokescreen because there's a lot of confusion with very intelligent people. So they're talking about how can the Biden administration, Suni or Mo or somebody answer this, or Kevin, I don't know. How can they say that there are more new leases now than there were during the Trump administration? Is it just because they're leases, but they're not permitted, as you said, or where are these numbers from the White House coming from?
I don't know that, but I was reading something here that I need somebody to explain to me. Okay, so it says here in March 2020, Trump's Republican administration rolled back Obama standards to require only 1.5% annual increases in efficiency through 2026. This is in regards to the rules on emissions. Okay, so these are the new environmental rules. Obama had required 5% annual increases. The new rules, which Trump put in, take effect in 2023 and require a 28.3% reduction in vehicle emissions. So if you take that into account, does it matter that there's all these new leases?
Send me that. I'm curious. Can you send me that? That'd be great.
In theory, no, it doesn't matter because they're not granting the permits.
Okay, got it.
It's just that simple.
Right.
Until, like it is,
Okay.
I don't know if you understand the way these things work. The great thing about bringing stuff up is you get to add material by having other people add to your material in your brain. That's how.
Yeah, that's Marlon.
So I had somebody call
Was
into
that
my
Marlon?
show this morning.
That's Marlon. I don't know why that's being said.
Sorry. I had somebody call into my show this morning and try to say that there are hundreds and if not thousands of leases that companies are just sitting on
Yes. We talked about this. You guys can go back and watch it. I talked about this yesterday.
Yeah,
on an Instagram
I need to go
show.
check it out.
And we were just exploring thoughts, like trying to help people understand in pretty much layman terms, like this is purposely being done.
So
we can
100% it is.
Sorry, Suni. So are you saying that it's corporate greed as part of this mix?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's corporate greed with the oil companies saying that we're making great profits. We're essentially making money on speculation of future shortages of oil, and we're not really getting the permits to do any more. Why would we go through all the red tape? We've got enough to make a bunch of money. So it's a combination of a shitty administration not allowing for drilling, and then a bunch of corporate big heads.
Yeah, it's corporatism at its finest.
Look at it this way.
Let me ask this question. Can I ask a question?
Kevin? You've been cutting me off all night. So look at it this way.
Casey, I love cutting you off at the knees.
Go ahead.
So we had Trump actually bring energy independence and try to bring down oil prices and focus to actually help us, right? And then we had COVID happen. And so so we had COVID happen. What industry hurt the most other than the airline industry? The oil industry. The oil industry really plummeted, right? So now that we're recovering, and the oil industry is looking at it as, hey, we're going to make some money. And so the oil industry is trying to capitalize on it. And we have a president that doesn't have a pair of balls to do anything about it. And so all of the government and the corporations are in it together, as we all know, and they're just racking up the prices so they can benefit from it. That is the layman's terms of what I see happening. Is that what you're describing, Suni?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Sounds right. Kevin, go ahead, Muffin Cup, and then we're going to go to the next topic.
No, I was just going to say that there's a reason why we have so many untapped drilling facilities here in America. There is a conglomerate. There's a reason why we are about to turn to Venezuela. I promise you, Iran is going to be involved in this. We are trying to diminish the axis of evil, sphere of influence, aka at any. There used to be an axis of evil that included Iraq, Afghanistan, China, Russia, what have you. We have the ability right now to include Iran in the Western sphere of influence by saying, hey, Iran, guess what? All that oil you have that we have made it a point to keep out of the global market. Yeah, we're going to allow you to start selling that to us. Oh, Venezuela? Hey, Maduro over there. By the way, the Biden administration was in Venezuela the last couple of days.
He was in Texas today too. Joey Basement screwed up the spa today. Kelly and I own a spa together, and because of that, the traffic right there, we ended up losing like 6 people that couldn't make it in. I might be inflating that, but like 3 people couldn't move in traffic because of Joey Basement's coming to Texas to talk to veterans that don't even like him. Kevin, geez, what?
The point I'm making is that because of the Democratic platform being that the conservative side, the side that is not us, cannot possibly fuck you be correct. Everything they say must be wrong. So when the conservatives say, hey, we are not technologically capable of going green yet, the left must necessarily say, no, we are going green now. So to hell with it, if that means Russia now dominates any and all energy sectors in Europe. What it comes down to is that we, the correct right, cannot ever at any point be acknowledged as correct. And that is almost as big as my penis. I promise, almost.
It's all one big machination.
Yeah,
it's all one big machination.
Well, let's just laugh, all right?
Kevin, go for it, Suni. What do you got?
Talked our ears off. We need a comedic moment, and then I gotta hop off.
I told you.
No, where the fuck are you going?
Are you not going to talk about Brittany Griner with us, and you can go? We'll talk about BF.
Okay.
All right.
Come on,
okay.
Judy.
Okay.
All right, we'll do a quick Brittany Griner.
I got a conundrum for you all.
This is funny.
How do you generate electricity without coal, oil, and gas? I mean, talks about this Green New Deal and how we're going to be using energy and it's going to be so good for the environment, you know? But what they fail to tell you all is they're still using coal, oil, and gas to do it. Make it make sense.
Bro,
That's
I
cute.
showed that to my kids and they were on the fucking floor. I'm like, you have no clue what I'm talking about, but the fact that they were laughing so hard and the fact that it's that simple, that people are still talking about renewable energy and we need to go green. Going green just means they're putting our natural resources behind a paywall, and you are okay with this. Oh, you're muted, Russo.
Do you know a fun fact, Suni, about where some of the richest parts of the world are for lithium mining?
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Weird. Weird. Anyway,
I'm not allowed to talk.
Awkward.
you are allowed to talk. Just be mindful, you drunk.
Quit being a
It took me
baby,
45
man.
seconds to get the last point out, and I got.
Well, it's because it was
Don't act a
preceded with
baby.
18 minutes of garbly. Okay, so really quick, while we still have Suni in there, we're gonna end with the V. And the last thing, please, guys, do us a favor. And if you are on the, if you can see this comment that I just put up in your comment box, not on the screen, but if you see it in your comment box, click on it because we can only talk about the V on one page. We have 16 people watching on the Be the Change YouTube. Please switch over so we can talk about the V. Let's talk Brittany Griner. Suni, go ahead if you want to talk about it to start it.
Well, I think Russia should keep her. Let's trade her.
Yes.
You know, I'd rather take the oil and leave her ass there.
Right.
That would be great.
Plus, she's
I don't know.
a lesbian. We need one less lesbian.
Lesbians go away.
So if you guys don't know the story, I'll give the basic and then I'll let y'all talk about it. So Brittany Griner.
Russo's like, so you guys are going to be dishonest about this one. Let's go.
I'm just joking, lesbians. You know,
Lesbians.
Hey, let's be honest with this story.
I love
So-
lesbians.
Brittany decides, I think she was there for some kind of international tournament from what I see, and she's playing in Russia. and
She plays in Russia during the American offseason.
Is that what it is? Okay,
Yes.
so she's over there and
plays
she
in the
decided
Russian league.
to come home, and I know she makes a decent amount of money playing basketball, which makes me it's very odd that she decides I'm going to try to just bring hash oil back to the United States. And I've seen conflicting reports if it's hashish or if it is just a pen with like a dab pen. I don't know.
Vape. It was a vape pen
But why are they
and
reporting
cartridges.
why are they reporting hashish in a lot of areas?
I don't know.
Because
I mean,
the
does it really
oil-
matter?
So the other thing is there's a video of her with a bag of stuff. So they're saying it was a pen,
No.
and then they're also saying that there was a whole bag of it. It was enough that a dog caught her. So there is a very strict law in Russia that carries a sentence of 15 years imprisonment for this. That's all I'm saying. And that, I mean, she broke the law, but it's really bad timing. If you see what's going on in the world, and here's my question to the rest of the panel. If you see this is going on in the world, there's about to be a war. We know that Russia's a little kooky. Do you really want to be that dumb?
What do you mean? Like, does she want to be that dumb, or do they want to be that dumb? I'm confused.
Why are we rescuing or why are we? I mean, again, I think that she needs to be brought home. Whatever. I don't think it's that extreme. But how is nobody calling out her?
Fuck
stupidity?
no, fuck no. She doesn't need to come home. She stated that she didn't understand, and this was prior to the situation, why we were playing the national anthem at sporting events, and then she was going to sit her ass down when it was playing. So you know what, Brittany? Have fun in Russia. Learn a new language.
Hey,
Hope they have a cell big enough for your fucking ass, because sorry.
Just a cool fun fact, you know, since we're still talking about the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. I just want to let everybody know that China has now corroborated and substantiated that we indeed have biolabs, okay, on the border. This is even more reason why Putin decided to say, F you, I'm coming through Kyiv and ain't shit you gonna do about it because I'm gonna tear the place up. Just saying.
So the biolabs are on the border. I was reading today about them, but I didn't know the location. So they're on the
Supposedly,
border.
yes.
They're on the border.
Wow.
Theoretically, allegedly, you're muted, Mo. Did we mute you? Oh, there you go. Still muted.
I got a
You're still
child
muted.
abduction.
There you go.
There we go. You're good.
What the
We hear
fuck?
you. No, we hear you.
Okay. What did you say, Suni? I missed it because my phone glitched.
Oh, you got a little. Hold on.
Oh no, China came out and said what we've all been saying about the biolabs, and the
Do we
left
really
is like,
trust China though?
That's
either?
conspiracy theory with certain things in certain forums. Yeah, because China will tell the truth. In certain forums, you get them in WEF, and they tell you their intentions, and they say, "Hey, we have friends in America and a Democrat Party. We have establishment friends." Yes, there are certain things I will listen to when it comes to China. This didn't just come from China. This came from me looking at the defense budget, and biolabs and Ukraine are indeed in our budget.
I mean, I'll take it. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not. Yeah. So yeah, we could wrap up Brittany, and then Stoonie, you can head out. But yeah, I think it's ironic that she's begging for help from the United States of America when she talked about how much she hates the anthem. It's like,
tell her Black lives don't matter.
Did you
Stay
see
away.
her shirt?
So
Go ahead, Kevin.
I saw that there was like a conspiracy theory that she was their attempts to get an American hostage, if you say like. But it's stupid. So like she's very lucky she wasn't in Singapore, where what she had would have been the death penalty, and they would have had zero sympathy whatsoever about her
Right.
at all. But what it comes down to is just that, we have this entitlement issue here in America that apparently translates to when you go overseas. Like, yo, I make $75K a year to play basketball with other women, and sometimes I dunk on them. So therefore, when I go to Russia, I am king shit.
That's
No,
where they
you're
make
not
the bulk
king
of their
shit.
money is overseas. They make it more than they do in the WNBA.
Oh,
They
she
actually
makes
do.
over
Boring, bro.
she makes over $1 million. That's her contract.
So
Yeah,
why can't you just
boring.
buy the shit back in the States, you dumbass? Like,
No, she did. She brought it over. The problem.
I like this side of Russo.
well, it's you know what
It's
that's like.
stupid.
Junie?
They're
It's like
stupid.
I get like sometimes people have DUIs and they make mistakes and stuff. What I don't get is when professional athletes and actors and that have millions and millions of dollars and everybody that can help them and they get the DUIs. It's like DUI is bad across the board. I get it. Human beings make mistakes, but when you have the fiscal means to go, you know what? I'm going to drop 100 bones on just getting a Uber Black. Like, serious. There's no excuse anymore whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I can
I
go
agree.
you know what? On my flight home, I traveled through Denver International. I'm going to take a pit stop. And I'm
You
going to go
were
get
near
my
me?
friend.
This is bullshit. Okay, so there's one thing I do want to mention before we like disappear, and it's the radical.
paper?
So we talk about the Decepticons quite a lot, right? All of us, the
What?
Deceptivarians.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Decepticons.
Why are they so obsessed with the youngest among us? And this is the video I want to play for us if I can get it to work.
And then soon you'll go. We'll talk V's and get out of
Dooney,
here.
you're gonna enjoy the one I'm about to play if I can, like I said, if I can get it to work.
Sure.
It's Ron DeSantis responding to this idea of the "Don't Say Gay" bill. That
Which,
was
by the way,
recently-
is not a don't say. They've named
Here.
it that. I had this argument a couple days ago. All it is saying that you can't talk about sexuality until somebody's in third grade. That's not a
Sounds
don't say
good.
gay bill.
So let's see. Tell me if this is playing for y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it say that in the bill? Does it say that in the bill? I'm asking you to tell me what's in the bill because you are pushing false narratives. It doesn't matter what critics say.
It says it bans classroom instruction on sexual identity and gender orientation.
For who? For grades pre-K through 3. So 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. And the idea that you wouldn't be honest about that and tell people what it actually says, it's why people don't trust people like you because you peddle false narratives. And so we disabuse those narratives. And we're going to make sure that parents are able to send their kid to kindergarten without having some of this stuff injected into their school curriculum.
Like,
I agree.
I mean, yeah. I'm gonna get pushback, but go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead on this one.
So the pushback I'm gonna give is we have no problem limiting speech from K through college. Okay, but we won't like. I think it's a win. I'm glad that kindergartners in Florida don't have to hear this shit. But why not go the extra mile to say, nah, let's push this out to what? until they're out of high school and they can make their own decisions rationally. Like, I don't understand why this even needs to be talked about in school.
Right.
It's just a weird
Period.
obsession that the state has with children and sexuality, man. It's just fucking weird. I don't get it. That's
Let me ask this question. Why is it that you guys think that for this is for all of you individually, why do you think there is so much focus on children in all of this?
Because it weakens.
They're the next generation. Yeah, they're the next generation.
It weakens us. It weakens us for decades to come by presenting this kind of material. And yeah, I agree. And you guys know I'm pretty pro gay rights, all this stuff. To me, I don't know if all the way to the end of high school, but I think third grade is far too young. I think it should be going to at least eighth grade. To me personally,
And yet they're mad about it.
Yeah,
and people think it's more than it is because of the branding. I was having an argument with Jay Kennedy, like always, and he's like, because I said, how many steps forward did we make when they actually said that children should not? They're no longer recommending the V. I go, this is a big leap for humanity. He's like, except for the same day they're doing the Don't Say Gay bill. I'm like, have you read the bill?
I saw that.
I'm like, are you that?
Someone tagged me in it.
I think I might have heard it, but honestly, like I go, where is it not allowing people to say gay? It is literally until third grade, which is still too young. Like, it's amazing what marketing could do to intelligent people.
I mean, I gotta agree with Suni on this one, because I was thinking about this and I said, when I was in school, I mean, we didn't have classes on sexuality and putting on condoms. We had a home ec class, right? The guys had wood shop, right? Where did those classes go? They ushered those classes out and ushered in talks about sexuality and condoms and STDs. And they did it little by little by little. And now they're doing a little bit more of the sexuality talk and discussing where, what age we're going to start talking about and what age we're not. I don't think it belongs in there. I agree. That's a discussion that belongs at home with your parents.
Yeah.
Not in school.
So Suni, I got research for you before you go, because you might like this. So I talked to a buddy. We were talking about something similar to this and talking about the school program. Either you or Mo might like this. Apparently, if you research funding to the education of this country, foreign entities, apparently you will see, and I have not been able to fact check this, so maybe if you can find it, you might be able to go down a rabbit hole that you might really enjoy. But foreign entities, communist nations, have been funding our education system for decades, apparently. So I believe it. I don't have the evidence.
Can you send me that?
No, I don't have any. There was a conversation I had with a guy that.
Okay.
So
if you want to find out,
you find.
You said in our school systems, there's funding for that.
Schools funding from other countries that would want to
KGB agents in the U.S. university system.
So that was one of the comments that my buddy made as well. The university system as well. The university system was very big, actually. Some of the grants.
So just to paint it out for you, because like the way I look at it, the university and public education system is the single greatest enemy of the prosperity of America moving forward. And if you look at just what the KGB/FSB/ whatever you have it did to the American university system between the 50s and the 70s, you can legitimately find pages upon pages of these cultural Marxists that introduce these ideas to future teachers as objective truth for 20, 30, 40 years. By the time we get to right now, they've been being taught this stuff as objective truth for so long, they don't even know they're being manipulated.
Correct.
This is exactly what we were talking about off camera, Kevin, when I was referencing CRT and Black history. It's compulsory education. It's not actual history of what's going on in this country. It's compulsory. Okay, we're going to tell you what we want you to know. We're going to paint a narrative, and you're going to go out into the world and demonstrate that. It's a big clusterfuck. I enjoy it. I like researching this stuff so I can talk about it. So I'm looking into it now, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And it's universities are big, and then also maybe it's certain high school, but I forgot it's grants for universities. I totally mistook this. I read that really quick. I thought Gina was saying she had sex in ninth grade. I was like, cool, Gina, good for you, good for you. She had sex ed, got it. Suni, I'm going to tell everybody real quick, please, guys, if you are seeing this message on your YouTube, it means you're on a page that we are going to have to end. We still have 13 people watching. Suni's got to head out. Suni, give a goodbye to the audience, and then we'll finish up talking about V information.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for researching, learning. I think everybody should be doing their own due diligence when it comes to these things. And I don't know. I mean, like, turn off the TV and practice being objective. I had to do that myself, which is why people have seen a lot of my views and my takes. And they're like, bro, what the fuck happened to you? Well, I became objective. Because placating to either side, you get lost in the mix. The waters are very muddy. So research. And if you don't believe me, fact check me, prove me wrong. And that's it. I hope you guys have a good rest of the show. I am going to be watching because I'm interested in hearing the side effects of the jab that they all said we were conspiracy theorists for. Don't you find that funny? How many months ago did we say that?
You're a conspiracy theorist, Suni. Sorry.
Speaking of muddy
you
water.
said this 2 weeks ago, Suni. How dare you? Wait, sorry. I apologize. I just read the new updated guidelines. You are a very well-informed citizen. I am proud to be friends with you. I'm sorry.
This is what I wish Jay would come on, by the way, Russo. I wish he would come on to talk about these specific things.
Yeah, I think Jay wants to come on a show. Tuesdays are bad, so maybe we might have to do a Wednesday night show one of these days just for Jay. Because there's so many things that I want to look Jay in the face and be like, really? he talks a big game behind the keyboard where he's like, yeah, but what about? What about? He literally did an exact whataboutism on something. The whole thing about the moving a step forward. I go, that's not a whataboutism. I go, that's the actual definition of you said I gave something and you said, yeah, but what about? I'm like, bro.
That's whataboutism. I mean, yeah, you got it right.
And
now, have a good show, guys. I'm going to be on Instagram talking about the oil and such.
Later.
Yeah.
All right. We'll wrap
Later,
up.
Bish.
Go watch over there too. So real quick, guys, last call. Thank you, Suni. Last call. Please switch over. So if you see this, we've got 11 people still on the hashtag Be the Change page on YouTube. Please head over. If you see the comment in the comment box, please head over. We're going to do a 15-second count to get people over, and then you're gonna lose the show because we got to get it off that one when we start talking about the V because we already have two strikes for talking about these not working, and it turns out they've really don't. They don't work as planned. So we are down to we went up one. That's good. Let's try one more time. Putting it in the comment box. If you see it in your comment box, not on the screen, but in your comment box, you're going to see something that looks like this in your comments, not on the screen. Please switch over. We've got still 12 people. We'll work on it. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're getting rid of that page because we're talking about schmaxiganations and remove. All right, there we go. And we just lost 11 people. All right, good. Save changes. All right, there we go. We'll see if people will start joining or figure it out. All right, they're here in our Red Pill Mix Chick. Glad you could join. All right, we're going to talk about how many total was it? 50,000 pages came out. So the safety, for those of you the guys that don't know, something was supposed to be withheld for 76 years from Pfizer's safety data. So the Fizzy Fizz had all this information, and we're going to have kind of a debate, existential debate on what this truly should mean. So this data this is not VAERS. This is not what people were reporting. This is those that were part of the test groups for the Fizz and all the data that came out. And out of that, there was a 38-page report specifically with side effects. 38 pages. Now, that's not all side effects, but it's explaining many of them. There are hundreds of side effects that they saw for those that were schmaxiganated, including things from encephalitis, which is swelling in the brain, all different terminologies for blood clots. Guillain-Barré syndrome was on there. POTS, What were some of the other ones? The obvious ones. The heart, myocarditis, pericarditis. All these different things are in there. Everything we said is in the actual Pfizer document that was leaked.
Yes, it is.
All of them and more. And even worse, this data does not include 9 adverse effects pages. 9. And may lose your count. Somebody just said that in the comment box. And not only that, they are not including those that only got one of the jabs. Many people left the trial because they got sick after the first jab and did not want to be a part of the second jab. They're not even included in the safety data because they were allowed to keep them out. That's all I got for you guys. That's the thought process. I'm going to have some more questions. What do you think of this data, Mo?
I mean, what is there to say other than we've already said it? I have told you so. People should be in an uproar. I don't know if they're doing this because they're trying to cover their butts for all of the lawsuits, if there could even be lawsuits, because I also heard that when you went and got this jab, that you somehow signed away your rights for any type of legal action. So that is very, very scary. And the people that have gotten this vaccine that were so pro-vaccine are silent. And I would be in an uproar online right now. I would be scared, you know, that some of these things are going to affect me. What's interesting is I hadn't looked at it in a long time, but I was looking at the CDC website on the COVID tracker that they have. And I suggest everybody go look at it because it is astonishing how much the graph literally goes all of a sudden as far as cases. And, you know, you can go through and it tells you the dates that it started to drop and you could attribute that to certain things and make whatever story you want up there. But yeah, I don't know. I really want to hear from those people that were so pro-vaccine, that were defending.
They still are. They don't. So that's why they're not looking at this at a discerning mind. I don't know what they're saying, but they're just like, it's bullshit.
Let's play a little game here called, which state got it right? It's from Tom Woods. And if you don't know who he is, I'm not going to tell you who he is.
Florida?
Between these two lines, which one got COVID right and which one didn't? No, just tell me which one imposed mandates and which one didn't.
I'm going to guess that this is California and Florida as my guess. And I'm going to say what?
I'm going to cut you off and say California and South Dakota.
Oh.
Okay. But which one is which?
Well, I'm going to say that if it is South Dakota, I'm going to say that's the blue line.
Okay, let's go with blue. So, Iowa and Michigan. Iowa was the blue line. Michigan, which had masks, was the red line. You don't need to know that. Okay, so one of these neighboring states had very stringent lockdowns. The other never closed indoor dining or outdoor and issued stay-at-home orders. Which one is which? Which one never imposed any of these mandates?
The red.
Red.
Well, yeah. Probably. Are we guessing which state?
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't matter which state. Which one imposed mandates?
Which line?
Of course. We can guess that. We know that.
Yeah. I'm going to guess.
Nevada did not impose the mandates. The correct answer is California. The toughest.
Wait, what mandate?
So I understand why you guys think you're wrong. I changed the question on y'all. I asked the question, which one did better? That's the red line. Blue line was California, who imposed the most stringent mandates.
I feel like they still have mandates.
Okay.
This one looks like an echocardiogram.
Which state had the mandate? Out of all of these, which state had the mandate?
The green.
Blue.
I have no idea. Which state had the mandate?
The blue.
Blue? Green?
And blue.
I'm going green.
Okay. Let's go. I'm going to click red. The point being in all of this, you have no fucking clue. You look at this chart and beyond just thinking, it's going to be the least, you don't know which one it's going to be. That's how ineffective these things were.
Right. So there's just no predictability. So here's my big question. I think that's a really fun game to play. So here's my question. So as you said, Mo, They can't press charges. They sign their life away. They can't. But then it becomes an issue of informed consent. So they were hiding the safety data. Do you know who had this in their possession? Pfizer, FDA. That includes Fauci, and Pfizer, FDA, and who am I forgetting? Pfizer, FDA, and
Moderna. Moderna.
Did Moderna also have it? They probably had their own stuff. I don't know if they had Pfizer's data. Either way, so you've got Fauci, CDC, FDA, and Pfizer having all this. In the United States of America, especially with emergency use authorization, you cannot sue pharma. You cannot sue big pharma. You can't hold them accountable as an individual.
Pause.
Oh, Jesus. Let him finish. Wait.
Do you remember when Biden said the same thing about gun manufacturers?
Right, and that's he made that mistake talking about gun manufacturers and saying that they can't be sued, but they can. Good point. But do you know who can't? Big pharma. But what supersedes this, and correct me if I'm wrong, somebody with stones in the U.S. government can actually bring this up now on the whole phrase that we've been afraid to say because it makes it sound kooky. This is now a violation of the Nuremberg Code, because the whole Nuremberg Code is informed consent. If they had this information and we're not allowing people to see it for 76 years, this now becomes a break of informed consent. You actually have to have probably the government press charges. I am trying.
No shit. No shit.
I'm dead. Is he drunk? That's hilarious. Yes. So anyways, this is now the definition of a violation of Nuremberg Code. And the funny part is most people in the United States are so blind to this information coming out that they're not even realizing that. And no, if somebody took the jab and they have an adverse effect, they can't sue the manufacturer. But the government can get. This would include everybody. This would include anybody that had this information and did not allow the public to have. This would be Fauci. This could be Biden. To me, that's impeachable offense if he knew this. Granted, I don't think he can read anymore. So all these different things. Kevin, go ahead.
So the Nuremberg Code does not apply to a nation upon its own people. That's the problem. Is that if you're going to talk about the Nuremberg Code, it is only between warring states that have declared some kind of conflict. A state cannot violate the Nuremberg Code upon its own people. That is the whole point of it. Ergo, that's part of the problem, is that they have violated what qualifies as the Nuremberg Code, but international law, for any lawyers in the crowd, including myself, who is not a lawyer, who only aspires to be one and who knows nothing about the law, international law is built off of hopes and dreams and nothing whatsoever. The Nuremberg Code can only be committed against opposing states. It cannot be violated against its own people.
Mo, go ahead.
Okay,
I'm learning. So Mo, go ahead.
But technically, aren't we at war with DC, which is where all these people reside, and they're not technically a state?
That's a good point.
Gotcha.
Never mind. I won't say what I want to say about that one.
You are, but you aren't. And that's where you got to get into the nitty gritty. And that's where attorneys come in, is we are technically never in war because our Congress has never declared war. Not for many, 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 many years. And
the people declared it.
Yes, the people have. But that's where you start seeing other things come into play, not necessarily war. And so I think overall, like what he's talking about makes a whole lot of sense. And I remember reading about that a long time ago. But when it comes, what I'm seeing with this is if the people want to fix this as a crap load of class action lawsuits and just go after them,
but
start filing them.
Sue.
You guys,
you can file it. You can file it and then have it rejected, and you can get more people together. Look what just happened to the Sackler family with the opioid epidemic. They just had to pay out $6 billion because of their lying about the OxyContin and addiction. It can be done. It just takes a long time and patience.
Wasn't Washington, D.C. like last year trying to work on becoming a state? Yes. I wonder if it's for this reason. Because they were trying to get out of this shit. Man.
Could be. I don't know how it would get them out of it, per se.
Well, because
it's
they're-
still
then they're state in the
retroactively
United-
accountable.
I'm just saying that there's got to be, and I actually, I mean, I learned something from drunk ass over there, so now I know that. I mean, somebody said put him to bed, but we wouldn't have just learned that little bit of information. And yes, Lee Dundas has said it. As a human rights attorney, and we know that sometimes they can go a little overboard. So the question becomes at this point: informed consent is a thing. So
Yeah.
How do we impose a violation or accountability on the government's choice, the FDA, CDC, and Pfizer, big corporation? How do we impose this violation of informed consent?
You're never going to. What it requires, I'm just going to say this, and hopefully I can't see anybody outside of trying to like put a bullet.
Hillary's
in my head.
coming for you,
No.
dude.
The what they're gonna create is a situation where those who can no longer peacefully protest are driven to blankety blank. And I don't finish that quotation because if I were to, I promise you my brake lines would start getting cut on my truck.
What's the blankety blank? I don't know it.
I'm really fucking lost.
Those who make peaceful protest impossible make blank revolution blank. If you look it up, you'll know exactly what I'm saying, but I'm not going to say it on here.
Put it in
I feel
private
like-
chat. I'll say it. I don't care.
I feel like I have to be on your level.
Those
of
who make
judgment to
peaceful
even
protest
understand.
impossible make violent revolution inevitable. That is
Yes.
the quote.
100%, I agree with that.
So that is the quote I'm trying to.
Out of all the
sidestep.
things we say on this show, that's the thing you're worried about getting your
Yes,
brakes right?
because that John F. Kennedy was killed a couple weeks after he said that. So
Well, don't even think about him. We'll also look at Breitbart and all
yes,
that stuff.
because
Like
I'm
many
not
others.
joking when I say John F. Kennedy was killed only a couple weeks after he said what I just quoted.
I need a drink.
Yes. Those who make peaceful protest impossible make violent protest inevitable. That is the way things go. We have a group that is the globalist elites who are, by the way, fucking retarded. I can't say the other word because we'll get demonetized, and I don't want
You
that.
still said it, drunk ass.
No, retarded. That won't be picked up by the algorithms.
Yeah, it will.
No.
Oh, jeez. You
Retarded.
guys,
You're
if
making me
nobody
laugh
hears
tonight.
if nobody hears
No,
from
but-
Kevin tomorrow, you know what happened. It was the
What
fucking-
I'm
He
pointing
threw
out
up on
is
his own
we're talking-
vomit in
we
his
keep
bed and
talking
it's-
about these situations wherein when you analyze it from the outside looking in, the only conclusion you come to is like, wait a second, like I don't benefit from this. They don't benefit. Who the hell benefits from what's going on here? At all times, there is a
Deep
small
state.
subset of an elite group that will benefit from what is going on. We have a small subset that will benefit from if Ukraine is leveled. They will benefit from the rebuilding of Ukraine because Ukraine is the single most natural resource rich place in all of fucking Europe. It is one of the top 5 in all of the fucking planet. That is what is going on. If Russia somehow triumphs, they have a permanent foil. You have Germany expanding their defense budget by 3 times. You have Finland, Sweden, Norway saying we will sacrifice our sovereignty, our autonomy to you, the European Union, to you, NATO, at all points, no matter how you see the victor in this situation, there is a small subset of elites that will benefit more than any other human being on planet Earth could possibly hope to benefit from any of this. And that is, in my opinion, purposeful. Sorry, that is end of rant.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how you just did that. You pulled that off quite well. That was a lucid minute rant with, I don't think you even messed up a word. So kudos, and it was well said. We might clip that out and say this is called drunk knowledge. With that said, guys, I think we're ready to wrap up. Mo, where can everybody find you?
Everybody can find me on YouTube at Let's Talk Darling, on Instagram, Let's Talk Darling, and my website, letstalkdarling.com.
No, Kevin is not right. He is actually in the middle. He's a libertarian.
Hey, let's go.
Casey, what do you got for us?
Not much. Just make sure you know who you're voting for this year. This year is important. We're already flipping some things here in Utah, which is really good. We're seeing a lot of the left that are retiring don't have people stepping up to replace them. So you might be seeing that in your state. So make sure you know who you're electing.
Kevin.
I just want to say, hey, we are once again at that juxtaposition between being divided and resisting the division. The only
What the fuck? Weren't you just supposed to give like your shout out?
Well, I mean, he can do last words too.
My shout out is the only hope we possibly have as a being, as a cohesive society, is to stand against those that wish to continue to divide us, those that wish to build that division between us. What we have is the truth and the reality presented to us. I continue to seek the truth every morning. Common Nonsense with Kevin, 1360 KHNC, 1360khnc.com. I'm there every morning just trying to give y'all some perspective of truth.
He sounded like Joe Biden. Just follow me at 374.
Except I'm slightly drunk, so I have an excuse.
I
for
thought
the
you
stutter.
were going to do the.
But
We're at this point in humanity. The only thing that you could do is listen to my show on Liberty Revolt.
If I can give one singular sentence as to what my goal is, we are being intentionally divided between ourselves by an elite group that knows the only way they can succeed is if we hate each other, and I refuse to do that. I love all of you.
Beautiful. That was a run-on sentence.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that was a little rough. That was rough.
I know what a run-on sentence is.
If you want to watch any of our podcasts, please make sure you're following this. Join our page so you get information, emails, etc. #BeTheChange.com/podcast. I've got a new podcast coming in the next month-ish with one-on-one in-person interviews. Mo, I might need your help on that one. You can come by the studio since Casey lives in Utah. But we're getting bigger names, and I'm coming up with a name for it pretty soon. I've got a few options.
Are you coming on my show tomorrow, Anthony?
Give me a call in the morning. I got to drive to downtown Dallas. So yes, a little teaser for
very
you.
early your time.
One of the potential show names is
Casey.
I think you might like
dick
this.
is bigger than yours.
Individual truth. I don't know. There's a couple there. I'm working on about 3: intellectual curiosity, blunt force discussion. I don't know. Anyways, got a lot, and I've got some potential guests on that. It'll be fun. Casey thinks I look like an idiot trying to figure out the name.
No, I'm making that face at Kevin eating his microphone and putting all that weird noise.
I think he's gonna.
Yeah, I used to be a screamo vocalist, so suck a dick, nerd.
And lastly, go to awakenotwokestore.com and check out what we got. We got Let's Go Brandon hats. We've got the Awake hats. We've got Casey's shirt. All these different things. Mode. Did I give you any gear at the event when I saw you?
Absolutely not.
All right, I owe you some stuff. One of these times we'll meet up because I got to go to Dallas every week now on Wednesdays. So I'll try to make sure we hook you up with some stuff. All right, guys. God bless. Have a great night. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And remember, the truth will always set you free. Wrong one. Oh, you know what? Sorry. I can't do the outro anymore because it keeps getting picked up by some YouTube thing. So I just got to say, well, see you later.
Nice drunk Kevin exit.
Yeah, exactly.
Suck my nuts, nerd. What?